All right, let's keep it going. We're doing sort of an underground spotlight on some, let's call it rock for lack of a better word, rock music. And this one I don't think many people probably heard of unless you're from a local area. This one I happened on really just randomly. So this is from 2011, but I feel like the song itself must have been written earlier, decades, multiple possibly. So a little bit of backstory here. So I was working in AV for an AV company doing setups for a convention center in Georgia, and part of a hotel convention center. Anyway, the security manager there also played drums, and he's a nice guy. I used to talk to him here and there. And one night after a show, he was like, "Oh, I'm going down playing at this Chinese restaurant, I believe." Going down there, and he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, okay, I'll run down. I'll see you." And went down there and listened to him, and it was nothing, nothing that blew my head off, but it was cool. But then I ended up talking to the guitar player a little bit, and he was like, "Oh, he'd been around a while," so he was like, "Oh yeah, I used to play with the first band with Steve Morse." Steve Morse before the Dixie Dregs, before the I forget what they were called even before the Dixie Dregs. They had another iteration. But anyway, this vocals and guitar player, Frank Brittenham on guitar, Dixie Guitarist, I think they were called before even the Dixie Dregs. So, but he didn't play with them with the Dixie Dregs, but he knew in high school anyway. So anyway, Frank Brittenham was the guitar player. I met him, and he was like, "Oh, I got this CD. You want one? I got it in the car." And I was like, "Yeah." So anyway, he brought me the CD, and the band was called Buford. I think they were kind of big in the local area. So 2000, they did a concert. It seemed like they were probably big in maybe the 80s, maybe the late 70s, 80s, and then they did a sort of reunion concert in 2011. But it was Steve Brantley on bass, Jamie Brantley on vocals and guitar, Frank Brittenham on guitar, Mike Brigham on drums, and Howard Simpers on keyboard. And the album had a lot of blues, but there was this one song that stood out from the rest of the album. I was like, oh, I think it was probably the first song on the album. And then the rest of the album kind of fell into a little bit more typical stuff I'd heard. It didn't really stand out too much. But this song, I was like, oh, okay, this one definitely has some flavor to it, similar to like a Dixie Grit, Dixie Dregs, kind of like that Toad song. It's got a very intricate pattern to it, and I really liked it. So we're going to play this one. I don't think anybody's probably heard this, so I'd love to know if you have. If you got any backup info on the players or the band Buford. So this song is called Special FX. Here we go. Okay. I didn't mean to pause it right there. I was going to pause it very soon. But my fingers just started moving on their own. So, anyway, I love this song. This song is so cool. Like the transitions, and it's very elusive. Like, I'm going to learn this song, and I'm probably going to transcribe it, and I'm going to put it up. I got another channel that I'm going to start pretty soon on transcribing a lot of sort of these underground songs, whether it's, classic rock like this, kind of cool riffs, nice little melodies, that deserve to be, put and learned it from. It's a pretty cool. I think this one kind of goes up in thirds. But basically, yeah, I'm gonna transcribe this at some point, because I think it's pretty cool. But love the transitions, love the overall feel. Like I feel like they're jumping around to similar things, but I never know like where they're gonna land here. So let me rewind it a little bit, and let's keep kicking it. So yeah, that one's called Special Effects, and band called Buford. I don't know if they had more tunes like that. I would definitely go. I would purchase that record. Yeah, I love it. It's definitely got some. I'd love to hear similar. There's definitely similar stuff to it out there. But it's very engaging. It's not too intricate where it takes you out and you really have to follow along. It's really it's infectious, it's got just enough to sort of keep you, it sort of brings it down dynamic wise a little bit, does this slower little pause and brings it down and then kicks it back in the next part and pauses it down, kicks it back in the next part. Again, it's not like this, spectacular, but it's very, it's a really cool song to listen to. And I imagine I would be really impressed if it was something that I wrote something like this and, got the band together and arranged it such. And, it's a really quality tune. So if you haven't heard this, let me know what you think about it. Cause I think it's, we gotta pull together all these little nuggets of goodness out there. They're not getting their love. Appreciate it. And we'll see you down the road. Take care. Bye-bye.